and it is indeed a great pleasure for me to be here with you all at your first scientific meeting. I remember well the pleasant evening in June last year when I launched the Fiji ONG Society at the Tanoa Waterfront Hotel in the presence of many of your international colleagues. I recall that the birth was witnessed by the President of the Royal Australian and New Zealand College of Obstetrics and Gynaecologists, the Asia Pacific Federation of ONGs, the ONG Societies of India, Sri Lanka, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Philippines, and Malaysia, who are all there to support the birth. I was heartened by the moral support you received on that occasion from your international colleagues, as I am heartened by the support that you are receiving today. Fiji may be a small developing country. However, when it comes to the health of women and children, every individual counts, no matter where they live or what their standing is. Your society was formed to ensure that your members are at the forefront of your speciality, both in knowledge and practice. I know that in recognition of this, the Fiji National University, the United Nations Fund for Population Activities, and the Ministry of Health through the Fiji Health Sector Support Program are supporting this conference. Women are vital to nation building. None of us would be here today if it was not for our mothers. The future mothers of our country are the young girls and the young women who are attending our schools and tertiary institutions. Their reproductive health is of great importance. I am saddened to note that the unplanned pregnancies remain a challenge in Fiji. The contraceptive uptake rate has declined to about 30%, when we should be aiming for at least double that rate. The teenage pregnancy rate is unacceptable at 10% of all pregnancies. An unplanned pregnancy places a burden on the individual who finds herself pregnant. It compromises her individual development as well as her social and economic aspirations. If she is a schoolgirl, her education is disrupted and schooling is often terminated. For many girls and their families, the pregnancy brings shame. For older women, an unplanned pregnancy can interfere with their employment aspirations, thus disempowering her and her family economically. Unplanned pregnancies are high-risk pregnancies. Some may seek unsafe abortion and take the risk of serious complications and even death. Others book late and are poor attendees for antenatal clinic and care. The physical, emotional, and economic burdens of unplanned pregnancy are great, and I am glad that you have family planning as a priority. A pregnancy should be a celebration for a woman and her family and not a burden. So you must advocate pregnancies by choice and provide women and girls of our nation with the necessary knowledge, skills, and attitudes so that they will use contraception as and when required. You have no doubt heard about my visits to the secondary schools in Fiji, advocating for safe sex and the prevention of HIV/AIDS and other sexually transmitted infections. Because the figures for HIV/AIDS and STIs in certain countries in Oceania are still on the rise, but particularly so for Fiji, where the HIV epidemic is still in the exponential growth phase and is not showing any signs of leveling off. This is a situation that is of great concern, which must be continually addressed, advocated for, and reversed. The international community, in defining reproductive health, recognized that all individuals should be able to enjoy their full sexual potential without the risk of an unplanned pregnancy or an STI, which has its own serious consequences of pelvic inflammatory disease, ectopic pregnancies, infertility, and cervical cancer. It is essential that safe-sex practices be promoted by education and empowerment. Your President, Associate Professor Naidu, is engaged in a project designed to empower rural women and girls about contraception, safe sex, and cancer screening. In her project, which is funded by the European Union, she is collaborating with the Western branch of the Fiji Cancer Society. I am aware that cervical cancer screening is a challenge in this country, and I commend your Vice President, Dr. James Fong, for exploring new approaches to this problem. In his work of screening by VIA, he has been assisted by the University of New South Wales in Australia, the Family Planning Association of New South Wales, and the Fiji Health Sector Support Program. Cervical cancer is a preventable disease. Yet Fiji is reported to have one of the highest rates in the Pacific, and women with this condition present late, when cure is not possible. Many women die young with this disease, leaving behind a young family. I am also concerned about the current non-communicable diseases crisis in our country. Cardiovascular disease and diabetes are two most common causes of premature death. Our Minister for Health, Dr. Neil Sharma, has recently said that only 15% of the population will live to beyond 60 years of age. Many of the risk factors for NCDs are common to reproductive health. These risk factors are smoking, poor nutrition, alcohol abuse, and lack of physical activity. But the NCDs do not occur overnight. They take a long time to develop, and there is increasing evidence that women's health, pre-pregnancy, during pregnancy, and immediately after pregnancy has health consequences, not only for herself, but also for her fetus and child. Obesity, diabetes, and hypertension cause major complications in pregnancy for the women and her fetus. The condition of the baby at birth can have lifelong consequences for the individual. So I am pleased that the new development agenda post-2015 in its target has the following priorities. 1, end preventable infant and under 5 deaths. 2, decrease the maternal mortality. 3, ensure universal sexual and reproductive health rights. And 4, reduce the burden of disease due to HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, and neglected tropical diseases, and priority NCDs. Ladies and gentlemen, in summary, I am pleased to note that your deliberations at this conference will address several of these priority areas. I am very pleased that you have included your midwifery colleagues in your deliberations. This partnership is extremely important. A competent workforce and teamwork is essential in meeting our health challenges. Your society is dedicated to improving the reproductive health of women and adolescent girls. To do this, you must provide professional leadership and ensure that your members are at the forefront of activities in this area. I highly commend your efforts, and I wish you a successful conference. Thank you. Vinaka Vakalevu, Shukriya, Bahut Dainavad.